Alrighty, so what you're looking at is the dealer entry system, or DROS. I skipped the main page because it does have some numbers on it tied to my ID that I don't think matters if it's public info or not, but just in case, for whatever reason, I want to keep that off screen. But let me go back here actually real quick. So when we go to select ammunition submissions, we have two options: standard, basic. This is what I discussed in the previous video. And we pick these depending, as I explained in that video, depending on whether or not you have a firearm registered to your current address. Now, if you don't have a gun registered to your current address, we go to basic check. This costs $19 and you have to wait. We'll print all this stuff off once we punch it in. You wait a few days and we keep checking it and checking it and checking it every day until it says approved. And then we call you and you come back in and you buy the ammo, and we submit a check and you go home. Now, this check can only be used once for one transaction. Once you use it, you have to redo it for another transaction and repay the $19 and re-wait the few days. Now, here's the tricky part. If we go back to the standard check, the $1 so-called instant check, more like a 5 to 10 minute check, this check works instantaneously, because it's not a background check. What it's doing is cross-referencing you to the gun database. If you bought a gun and it's registered to your name and we punch in the info and it matches to that and it sees you're in that database, you're good. It's instantly approved because it's not actually doing a background check, it's just cross-referencing you. You pay the dollar, you pay for the ammo, you sign the paperwork, you take the ammo, you go home. It takes about 5 minutes. Here's the problem. This has to match the info that was punched in for the gun sale exactly the same, or it will fail. Point in case, my name is Gleb Georgievich Gerasimov. Georgievich isn't my legal name, it doesn't exist, but hypothetically, let's pretend that Gleb Georgievich is my first name. Georgievich is not part of my middle name, it's part of my first name. A lot of Hispanic names have this effect. So, when I bought the gun, somebody typed into my first name, Gleb Georgievich. Middle name they left blank because I have no legal middle name. Then they went to last name and typed in Gerasimov. That's how the gun was registered to my name. Now, if somebody at Walmart is selling me ammo and they don't ask me those questions, is this your first name, is this your middle name? And they type in Gleb, and then they put Georgievich in the middle name, and they put Gerasimov in the last name, and they submit this check, it will deny. It does not match the system of the gun database. Likewise, my current address is, say, 999 Madison Avenue. I bought the gun at 999 Madison Avenue. That's what they typed in when I bought the gun. Now I go to buy ammo. I moved. I'm now at 888 Connecticut Avenue. And that's my current address. That's the address on the ID. So the employee types in 888 Connecticut Avenue and submits. It denies again, because the address does not match the address that was typed in when I bought the gun. The gun that's registered under my name is tied to that address. The system does not update it when I move. That's how broken it is. That is why when we work at the range, we ask you, is this your current address? Because it has to be your current address. We are not allowed to submit this unless it's current address. We get audited. If it's the wrong address, we get fined and go out of business. So, if it's the wrong address, you have to provide a proof of the current address. That's a vehicle registration, a government utility bill, SMUD. So, the ID address is wrong, you provide a new address, fine. But the question still remains, did you buy a gun at the current address? If you have not, this will not work. You have to go back to the basic check, the $19 check, and wait a few days, or buy a gun at your current address, a $50 receiver or something, or go to CFARS, C-F-A-R-S, Google it, California Firearm Application Reporting System, and go and update your address, aka register your guns at the current address. And sometimes that fixes the whole shebang, sometimes it does not. About 60% of people get denied in the system. Now, if you want to have some laughs about how much government sucks at everything, let's go back to the main menu. I'm going to turn the camera a little to the left so you don't see my CFD number. Oh my god, this fucking website. Submit ammunition purchases. Private party ammunition transfer. That's right, you are not legally allowed to give ammo to anybody anymore. You have to go into the store, conduct the background check, and transfer the ammo and pay a fee to do it. No gangbanger will ever do this, but you are legally obligated to. You can no longer give ammo to your dad. I have yet to actually use this once. We're going to go to ammunition sale. See, this is all blank. That's because we can't do this. We don't use this until we submit the check. Once we submit the check, this all autofills and we get the option. But I could show you some fun stuff here. This is all the information they want us to put in about every box of ammo we sell. Thank Jesus, only some of it's mandatory. Condition is mandatory, quantity is mandatory, caliber is mandatory. We don't, and the manufacturer is also mandatory. We don't have to type all the rest of this stuff in yet. If we did, this would take about 20 minutes and we'd have a lot more mistakes and get audited and fined and go out of business. But inventory code, select, it's blank, it's empty, it doesn't have anything. Great. Added that in, useless, broken. Manufacturer, type this in manually. Fiocchi, seller and bill, blazer. Condition, this is funny. New, reload, used. What the fuck is used ammo? How the fuck do I sell used ammo? Is that shell casings? Shell casings aren't ammo, we don't have to do the check, we sell them as is. What the hell is used? My only hypothesis is that used ammo is what you use when you do a private party transfer. To imply that the ammo is not bought from a dealer, but instead bought from a private citizen. But I don't know, they didn't explain this to us. They didn't explain any of this to us. We're still figuring it out as we go. Bullet type. First option. Armor piercing. Isn't that just dandy? AP. Handgun AP is illegal in California. So I haven't tried it, but I wonder what would happen if I was selling handgun ammo, say 9mm Luger, and I selected armor piercing. Would it stop me? Why is that even an option? This is also nice. Full metal jacket and total metal jacket. Everybody knows full metal jacket. Full metal jacket covers the back of the bullet, the base of the bullet. If you were to take a look at the back side of this bullet, it would have copper on it. Total metal jacket, on the other hand, is almost entirely jacketed, but that base, the back side of the bullet, is not jacketed. It's lead. So my question is, how would I know the difference? How am I supposed to know if this is TM? If the box doesn't say it, how am I supposed to know if the base of this is, if it's a private party transfer or something, if the base of how is jacketed or not? Until I fire the damn thing and recover the projectile. I mean, how the hell would I know which one of these to select? What around those without truncated cone? Semi-jacketed, semi-wad cutter, slug, tipped capped. There is hollow point up here and there's tipped capped down here. So is Hornady critical defense with that plastic tip in there? Is that tipped capped or is that hollow point? A bunch of hunting ammo is hollow point and it's also got a plastic tip. Is that tipped cap or is that hollow point? I don't know. Which one am I supposed to select? They want the goddamn bullet weight, easy enough. Usage type. Job, personal defense. I don't know, for cops, is that not the same thing? For security, is that not the same thing? Pointing range. Don't you point at a range? Training. Don't you train at a range? Casing. Aluminum, brass, plastic. Caseless ammunition. They have that in there. Cast zinc, copper, nickel, paper, plastic, and steel. I'm willing to bet a hamburger that there's some type of ammo that doesn't use any one of these. Now this is my favorite part, caliber. First off, my ammo, the ammo I want to buy, 7.62 by 25mm, is not in here. 7.62 Tokarev. If I try and buy that, I can't do it. There's 7.35, there's 7.21. And there is 7.62 by 35, but no 7.62 by 25. I can't buy it. Also, look at this. Moisen Nagant. They misspelled Mosin. They had 2 years to set the system up. They got God knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars of budget money. And I did the math. They make about $5 million a year on taxing us on this ammo check because I could see how many ammo transactions are done every time I do one. And if you add up the numbers, it's about $5 million a year. That's how much money they get from this. They couldn't spell it right. On top of all that, here's another round, and I'm sure there's many more, but 50 Legend, I think it's called. I'd never heard of it before, but one of our instructors asked if it was on here. 50 Legend doesn't exist. Note that 50 BMG is not on here. Sorry, there it is, 50 BMG. But 510 DTC is on here, which kind of is a joke because 50 BMG guns are banned, 510 DTC is not. If you don't know why that's funny or what this is, Google the 510 DTC and the history of how California banned the 50 BMG. And notice that they allow you to buy both, despite banning the 50. So that's the dealer entry system page. This is what we do every time we submit ammo. We type in all of your freaking info, we hit submit, we go back, we type in the ammo stuff, we hit print again, you sign the printed page, you pay the $1, you take the ammo, you go home. But that's the difference between the basic check and the standard check. Is there a gun registered in your name? So normally what I would do is I would hit preview, I would hit submit, and I would go back, and this motherfuckers